as said, Majestic Holidays, that is your DMC partner, your local partner in the Bahamas that can put everything together. And here we've got Philip, and I know that Philip, he has just been at one of those beautiful beaches and that he has been on vacation. Philip, Managing Director of Majestic Holidays, welcome tonight.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, I was sitting under that same tree you're looking at right there just last week, sipping a beer. That's down in the Exuma. So this isn't one of these photoshopped, cropped, stolen from the internet type of pictures. This is something that I happened to take while I was there, and that was what the weather was like. Everybody, welcome. I know you've been through a very intense 2 days of Bahamas information. I think your heads are probably swollen by now, can't hear another thing, but please bear with me as I present to you Majestic Tours and Majestic Holidays. I know a lot of you are familiar with us, and for others this is new. So I just want to give you a very brief history of the company. Majestic Tours has been around since 1959. Started with a single taxi doing airport transfers between Nassau International Airport and the hotels of the time, properties that don't even exist anymore, like the Montague Beach Hotel, the Emerald Beach Hotel, and although British Colonial still exists, they happen to be closed right now, but that would be another one that was around when our company started. And even going back then, 59, there was no Paradise Island Bridge. So whilst there was what is now the Ocean Club as a hotel over there, there was no way of driving anyone to get there. Yeah, our company predates basically the bridge to Paradise Island. We're now in our third generation of Saunderses that are operating the company, and the motto is people are only business. So what started out just as one taxi doing airport transportation and some sightseeing tours has since, over the years, evolved to a multifaceted provider of all things tourism. The growth over the years has been fueled by you guys and your clients. Things that you wanted to, for us to provide your clients with. That's what we put in place, especially out of Europe. The European market was actually very important for the founding of Majestic Holidays. People used to come in on these old airlines, started with like BOAC, that was the predecessor to British Airways, to International Air Bahamas. That's when we had our own airline that flew from between Nassau and Luxembourg. Condor, LTU, even AOM out of France. The European traveler spent a lot of time in the Bahamas, and you spend months at a time in one place. You kind of get tired of looking at the same old beach and the same old palm tree. So what ultimately happened is that we were asked to start providing trips to other things, and we did escorted trips as a company. The representative did escorted trips to places like Haiti, to Cuba, even to go see old Mickey over in Disney World in Orlando, and of course, the Out Islands. And it was out of that which Majestic Holidays was founded. Can I have the next slide, please? So what is Majestic Holidays? We are your local DMC. You've sat and listened over the past few days to various presentations, numerous hotels, transportation providers, excursion operators. And if you are this young lady sitting there in the right corner on a time stress, trying to figure out how to work the Bahamas, you're sitting there and I got to contact all of these suppliers that I've just heard from over the past 2 days. I want to set up an individual contract with them, get information, get the pictures in order to create your content for your brochure, high resolution, or for your websites, or for any other type of advertising that you plan on doing. And of course, then figuring out the logistics of how to get somebody between your country, and especially within the Bahamas, whether it's putting them on a bus, putting them in a car, arranging a ferry, or even the domestic flights, ultimately that's very overwhelming. And at the same time, in your head, you got to deal with your friends over in the accounting department who've forgotten to pay their bill if you have a prepayment situation. So there's all a lot of work to do, especially in a destination that may be unfamiliar to you. So, that's one side of it. The next side of it, you're in Nassau, your clients have arrived, and guess what? We're 6 hours behind you on average. There's an issue on arrival, and guess what? Your office is already closed. So who are you going to turn to? That is where we come in. Next slide, please. We, as your local DMC, we can solve that problem. We fit between you and all of those other suppliers. So the headaches that are there become ours. Ultimately, you need one contact, two contact people, one email to make a reservation, to request the services, one payment partner. Let's say you booked an island hopping to 4 or 5 different islands. You've got the hotels, you've got transportation, you've got flights, and you have to pay everybody individually. It's a lot to hold on to, and that's where we come into place. And additionally, we provide you with the information that you need, whether it be a fact sheet, high resolution imagery. That all becomes our problem. So the headache is now no longer yours, it becomes ours. Next slide, please. So you'd have heard over the past couple of days from several different hotel properties, I think 15 or 16. The product is very varied around the Bahamas, from your mega resorts on Nassau and Paradise Island and Grand Bahama, down to our friends over in Cat Island, Greenwood and Shanna's Cove, and even over at Embrace Resort in Staniel Key. That's 15 or 16 properties. That's not all we have. We have a product right now numbering around 90 hotel properties, which we can offer you. Anything from your luxury villa rental up to the mega resorts and everything in between, 2 to 5 stars. They're all available to you. The majority of them that we promote more than others are those that have a favorable net rate that we can extend to you. There are, of course, others, if you need them, that may not necessarily work with the tour operator, and the commission structure might not be there, but certainly available through our system or through our team to quote to you. The next slide, please. Once you get to these islands, of course, you need to be able to get around. Our mother company, Majestic Tours, as mentioned, started off with a single taxi. We now operate a fleet of 53 vehicles on Nassau and Paradise Island. They include the 29-passenger bus, the 10-passenger to 15-passenger minivans, a fleet of sedans. That would be what we call the town car. That's the one in the front image there. An SUV for private transfers. That's the one on the right, as well as stretch limousines. And for any of your guests that might be wheelchair bound, that are unable to get out of a wheelchair into a vehicle, we have a handicap van with an operating lift. On the out islands, things are a little different. We do not operate our own fleet of vehicles on any out islands or in Grand Bahama. However, if you book a hotel package through Majestic Holidays, we can certainly arrange through one of our partners for transportation on Grand Bahama. And on the out islands, things are a little bit different. There'll be instances where your clients will have to take a taxi, but nonetheless, that needs to be pre-arranged. For example, on Long Island, where there's 110 miles of road and only 3 taxis available for the entire island. So things have to be done in advance, and we certainly arrange that for you with our partners in the out islands. Can I have the next slide, please? For guests on Nassau and Paradise Island, we have a number of excursions which are available to you. Anything from a walking historical food tour to the conventional city tour. And of course, being in the Bahamas, as you will have seen, we are surrounded by a whole lot of water. So a lot of our activities have to do with the ocean, whether it's snorkeling or diving, as you can see there with Stewart Cove, or of course the other sort of sea life, the new sea life, which everybody's now familiar with by now, the swimming pigs. We also offer excursions to swim with the sharks, swim with the turtles, and of course, a lot of families' favorites, swimming with the dolphins. And in addition, of course, being on the water, there's a lot of boat trips. So you can have your little leisurely trip on a catamaran, have a lunch break, or you can do something a little more adrenaline rushing, like the Thriller Powerboat, which does probably about 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, which on the water, I'm sure you'll understand is a good clip. Now on the out islands, again, we don't have a physical presence, but we do offer some excursions. Really and truly, it's all because of the amount of the people that are available to do the tours, supply and demand in essence. On an island with only 100, maybe 100 tourists at one time, you may be looking at a private excursion. That's something that we can do, but we don't necessarily promote it in advance. But right now, we're offering in Nassau, Paradise Island, over 30 excursions. Next slide, please. To moving between the islands, anybody who's set up an island hopping or ever done an island hopping in the Bahamas realizes that it can be done. It may not be as easy to do from over in Europe. Visibly, you can of course see any GDS bookable flights with your travel agency, but within the Bahamas, the only one that you can actually book, and you may not even be able to issue them sometimes, is Bahamas Air. They will service maybe half of the islands, and then you might fall into a hole. How am I going to get my people down to see Greg and the team at Shanna's Cove? How am I going to do that? There's no scheduled flight from a GDS bookable airline from the US into Cat Island, and also not from Nassau into Cat Island. That's where we can step in and assist again by the booking of non-GDS bookable flights. You see here, Western Air. So if you wanted to go to Cat Island, you can do Western Air. You wanted to go from Fort Lauderdale, Cat Island on Makers Air. Those are all airlines that operate a scheduled service which you cannot see online. And these non-GDS bookable flights, they are available from our team. We can arrange that along with any island hopping and the usage of the fly free promotions to some of these out islands, which we're one of the providers of that service, of the 2 fly free promotion out of Nassau. All those flights can be booked with us. And that's not just Western Air, it's Southern Air going into Eleuthera, along with Pineapple Air, Southern Air going to Long Island, Western Air and Lee Air going into Andros, Titan Air and Flamingo Air going into Staniel Key. So there's a lot of different airlines that have a scheduled service that we can offer you. Lastly, in terms of the flights, the ultimate option, of course, is private charters. Bypass all security, basically bypass the long lines, on-demand service. So if you want to leave at 10 after 5, you leave at 10 after 5. No long lines, get on the plane, 10 minutes later, you're in the air. No big terminals to deal with, no heavy security. And of course, the flexibility to move between any 2 islands that you wish to. Of course, expect a little budget to come along with that. Next slide, please. Another service that we provide is our in-resort assistance. It's been a little bit taken back because of COVID, although while our numbers are very low right now, and restrictions every day seem to be well, it's becoming less restrictive every day. Right now, we're offering the representation service by telephone only, but we do hope within the next couple of weeks to be able to have in-person representation for any English, German, French, or Italian guests in the Nassau Paradise Island area, and the others contacted by telephone. This service is really a bonus for you guys being far ahead. You know, if you have an issue when your clients arrive at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Nassau and it's 10 o'clock over in Europe or 11 o'clock, more than likely, they're not going to get any answer if there's an issue if they call home. That's where we come in. Our representatives are the first people, the first contact person to talk to the client and to deal with any issues on property. Can I have the next slide, please? As we get towards the end, I kind of mentioned this earlier in the presentation. These next two slides basically are the services that Majestic Holidays offers you. We have the know-how. Our people are all Bahamian. We all live in the Bahamas. Sometimes it's not about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you know. You know, those ones who can make that plane stay a little longer because you're late, your clients were a little bit late coming in and they want to make that connection the same day. That's what we have. And we provide the services to our partners in terms of, for example, a Dropbox, access to images for your brochures, access to fact sheets. Next slide. Access also to our booking engine, and also to be able to download any net rates from our website for any of these partner hotels that you've already seen and excursion experiences that you would have spoken to or heard from over the past 2 days. So basically summarizing it, we're your one-stop shop. Again, one email, one contact. We do all the heavy legwork. It's your job to get the clients and our job to help you get them here and to help them enjoy themselves whilst they're here. So lastly, last slide, please. You've seen everything. Please sign up, pack your bags, and we look forward to welcoming you in the Bahamas in the near future. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you for your comprehensive presentation. It is worth really combining different islands, and this is really when the hassle starts, or not the hassle, it's all working, it's all perfectly organized in the Bahamas, but to put every little component together, and as Philip said quite rightly, a lot of it is handwork still, because you don't find the airlines or anything else in the GDS. And you need to know, I mean, I went to him back in December when I went to the Bahamas, and I said, you know, you have always these fantastic taxi drivers, they take you around the island. They're more like guides on the street, you know, more like guides. They tell you all the stories and take you to the most amazing places. And I need somebody like that that's doing a tour for 2 or 3 hours with one of my agents. And well, he was just thinking for a little moment, and then he came up with a suggestion, and he said, oh, let's call Big Mama. And Big Mama came, and Big Mama took our agents around, and this was a true, authentic Bahamian experience. And that's when Philip really comes into place and where all his know-how comes in. Well, thank you very much, Philip, for making the effort. You have all the contact details of everybody that has participated today and yesterday, and I'm sure that they're very interested to hear from you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for attending.